Nets and Giants. Jeff McNeil making a nice jumping grab in the right field corner. Thought you'd like this, Steve.
Oh, come on, man. He's a major leaguer.
Oh, he died.
No, that was like a...
Stop saying that.
That was like maybe an 8. That's not Hall of Fame hands, but because it's the Mets, you got to make it like 11 on the scale so we can get him in the show.
Did you say Jeff McNeil?
Yeah.
Ain't he a second baseman? What's he doing out there?
One of their crazy fans on staff, and we got this clip in there just...
That fan just got back. Big 3 action. Brandon Rush dropping Ricky Davis. And then the tray.
Brandon Rush. Now, Brandon Rush and I had some battles in high school. Look it up, see? True story. Kansas City, Missouri. Brandon Rush, the younger brother of Kareem and Jerron Rush, went to the University of Kansas, but before that, he had to get through me on those blacktops of Kansas City.
Look it up, see, he said.
Look it up.
Look it up.
B. Rush, man.
Go on to Wikipedia. Look it up.
He's a righty. His brother's lefties.
Yeah, he was All-American in high school.
Moving on.
I locked him up, though, see.
Hey,
true story. Look it up.
Is that before or after you threw your shoulder out?
Look it up. Let's not talk about my career-ending injury.
As Kawhi Leonard settles into life as a Clipper, new reports surfacing now that the Lakers are a little disgruntled over how his decision went down. They reportedly felt they got played by Kawhi in free agency and that he never had any true intentions of signing with them. Nick, Kawhi sporting the Lakers, is that more about the Lakers or that the allure of playing with LeBron has perhaps worn off a little?
Listen, I think this has a lot to do with LeBron, but not in the way it's being positioned. I think Kawhi understood something that Kevin Durant didn't understand a few years ago, which is if you are in discussion as the best player in the world, if you then team up with someone else in that discussion, that minimizes your ability to prove who you are in this league. And so I don't think the Lakers got played. I think Kawhi had a plan, which was, I want to get to the Clippers to compete with LeBron and Anthony Davis, not to create this big 3, but I am not doing it alone. And so he saw how free agency went, and the Clippers didn't sign any star. And then he met with Paul George and said, force your way to the Clippers. But I believe that if the Clippers struck out on that, if the Oklahoma City had just said, we're not trading him. He just signed a new deal. He's got 2 years plus an option left. We're not trading him. And the Raptors were unable to trade for Paul George or someone similar. That Kawhi maybe begrudgingly, but Kawhi would have signed with the Lakers because he wasn't going to go to the Clippers with no one. And I don't think he was going to go back to Toronto without another star and additional piece than what they had last year. So I don't think the Lakers got played. But I think that Kawhi, and Chris, you can tell me if you disagree, I think Kawhi made the decision, I want to compete against LeBron and have the ability to win a championship in that manner rather than team up with LeBron and have people look at it similar to Kevin Durant joining the Golden State Warriors a few years ago.
Well, I don't know if Kawhi looked at it that way, but I do know that once Anthony Davis went to the Lakers, Kawhi was trying to get to the Clippers. But once Anthony Davis went there, that was probably going to be a fallback plan in case he didn't have to go to Toronto. Now, he would have went to Toronto on a short deal because he is very, very comfortable there. And you can see through all the reports that they even tried to work a deal as far as bringing someone else to Toronto. Now, once he talks to Paul George, once Paul George makes those demands and the Clippers do what Kawhi asked, the Clippers were the front runner from the beginning because he had confidence in their staff, their owner, and the coach. And that was developed over the last couple years. LeBron being there, I don't think as much as LeBron, but Anthony Davis and them creating a super team. Kawhi did realize, though, you do need another player. I'm not trying to do what I did last year, and he made the best decision, especially given that the Clippers don't trade for George. It becomes between, do I sign with the Lakers or do I go back to Toronto? I don't think he would have gone back to Toronto if they couldn't have added another player. He would have taken the which he did the short deal, sign there in Los Angeles, and see what happened in 2 years.
But, Nick, the Lakers wouldn't have done anything different. They played it out exactly how they were going to play it out. They were going to wait for Kawhi. We realized early on they were going to bypass everyone and just wait for him to make his decision.
Well, where they would have done it different is if they knew they were not definitively, if they were actually 0% to get Kawhi, they would have been more active earlier in free agency. But I don't believe they were 0%. Listen, there's also reports out of Toronto that they don't love how Kawhi handled this. Listen, Kawhi handled this the way he's entitled to. And it would be, to me, this would be a very different story if he had signed with the Clippers a week into free agency with them not having done the Paul George deal. If it was the team that they had the first day of free agency and he's drawing it out and Toronto's kind of held hostage a bit, the Lakers certainly, then it would look like, oh, he was really trying to undercut the Lakers' ability to put together their team. But he was waiting for not only a domino to fall, but a domino to fall that took a lot of machinations, that took two teams getting together, agreeing on a trade, the likes of which we've never seen. We've never seen 7 first-round picks involved in a trade for a player who signed a contract the year before. It was absolutely on the board when Kawhi went to the Clippers and said, I'll sign if you trade for Paul George, that the Clippers were going to have to come back to him and say, we couldn't. We tried. Like, what else can we do? But we weren't able to get it done. So I don't think that Kawhi and Chris kept hearing all 3 teams are in it. Yes. Right? At no point did they tell you on or off the record, listen, you can't say this, but this team's out. And
even when other people were saying that, and it was being reported that the Clippers were no longer in the mix.
Right, and I believe one of the biggest problems, and this is something with the Lakers we have to watch moving forward, because people thought, well, if they meet with Magic Johnson because they requested it, that will help the Lakers. That didn't help the Lakers. And the messages that were being sent out there, the Lakers were listening to that. They thought it was a done deal. They thought they had Kawhi. But I can assure you this, there was only one team, and that was the Clippers, that they said, if you do this, we will sign with you. They didn't tell Toronto, hey, so if you guys do this, you make this trade, we'll sign with you. They didn't tell the Lakers, if you guys hold off, I'll sign with you. The Clippers. And it was the Paul George. If you guys make this, I've talked to Paul. If you guys make this trade right here, I'll sign with the Clippers, and they were able to get the deal done.
The Lakers did pretty well for having waited that long, for not getting Kawhi. We all assumed they'd get no one. They ended up putting together a nice little team.
Well, and it should be noted, the top free agent, they did end up getting Danny Green. What did he say when he was asked about it? He said, well, the opportunity to play with LeBron and Anthony Davis. You look at some of the comments Boogie Cousins has made. Like, the idea that, I mean, the people that have signed with the Lakers have made it very clear that the allure of playing with LeBron still exists. Now, all of that, and me saying Kawhi and LeBron competing for best player in the world title, that all assumes LeBron's going to have the best year 17 anyone in league history's ever had. We've only had 3 guys in league history even average 20 points a game in a year 17. It's Kobe, Kareem, and Karl Malone. So that's the level of standard we are expecting for LeBron this season. We'll see if he can do it. But I think for Kawhi it was about competition, getting to LA, and not latching on with someone else instead of creating his own thing. And that's exactly what he did by going with the Clippers and getting Paul George to come with him.
All right, we'll take a break. The other big team out west, the Rockets. How much is James Harden willing to sacrifice in Houston? Hear from him next on First Things First.
How much is he willing to sacrifice, Nick?
Well, we'll talk about it
Next time.